Today's lesson is for students in kindergarten, but all of you are welcome to join in. My name is Miss Wofford, and I'm a math coach and a math interventionist at Lincoln Heights in Spokane Public Schools. If you didn't see our previous lessons, you are welcome to go on the KSPS website channel. Today we will be learning about 3D shapes. Our learning target is I can name three-dimensional shapes or 3D shapes. And I can identify shapes as 2D or 3D. Let's get started. To start with, I have some Play-Doh. You can use Play-Doh or modeling clay to build shapes. So I'm making this shape, and then I'm going to describe the shape to you. It's curved, and it's round. It has no vertices. Curved and round with no vertices usually describes a circle, and it can describe a circle. But see how this circle is flat? This one isn't. This one has shape to it. It's solid. This is flat or two-dimensional. This one is solid, three-dimensional. I can wrap my hands around it. See how I wrap my hands around it? Go ahead and pretend that you're holding this shape. It's a 3D shape. It looks an awful lot like a ball, like a soccer ball or a basketball. Mathematicians don't use the word ball. They use the word sphere. Can you say sphere? Sphere. Sphere is kind of a funny sounding word. It starts out with an S sound, s, 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 and then the second sound is an F sound, f, f, sphere, sphere. A sphere is a three-dimensional shape. It is solid. It is not flat. When I say flat, I mean that I can take it, the shape, and I can flatten it between my hands. See how I can flatten it? I can flatten that shape. This is a 2D shape. This is a sphere. I can't flatten it. I can hold it. It's solid. I can't squish it and flatten it. Now, the cool thing about Play-Doh is I can flatten Play-Doh. So I'm going to take this shape and I'm going to change it. This is what I mean by flatten it. Watch what's going to happen. I'm going to squish it. See how I squished my Play-Doh? And then I can form it into a new shape. This shape is also round, has no vertices or no corners, sides. So I made a circle, kind of looks like a pancake. It's flat like a pancake, flat. So this would be considered a 2D shape because it is flat. Flat. See how thin that is? Flat. We're going to go ahead and explore shapes today. We're going to explore whether the shape is flat, 2D. I want you to take your hands and put them together like this and say flat, 2D. Or if a shape is solid, that I can't flatten it, solid, 3D. Take your hands and make your shape like this, like you're holding a soccer ball. That is going to be solid 3D. Let's explore some other 3D shapes. Here's this first one. You can see I can't squish it, I can't flatten it. It is a solid 3D shape. It looks like it would roll. Could maybe roll it a little bit. And it also has these flat surfaces on it. See these flat surfaces? That's what's kind of confusing is because a 3D shape can have a flat surface, but the whole shape isn't flat. This surface here is called a face. What shape do you see on this face? Maybe this will help. Can you see that circle shape? On some 3D shapes, they have this face, and you can set the shape down on the face. This shape has two circle faces. I'm going to set the shape down on this face, and I'm going to get a marker, and I'm going to trace the face. So I'm going to hold it here, and I'm going to trace around the face. And if I color that in, you might be able to see that this face is in the shape of a circle. This particular shape has one circular face, and then on the opposite side, it has another. So it has two circular faces. Do you know what this is called? It's called a cylinder. I can hold it this way with the faces on the side, or I can hold it this way with the faces on the top and the bottom, but it is called a cylinder. Cylinders come in different sizes. This cylinder is kind of short, and this cylinder is tall. So these are examples of 3D shapes. You can see I can't flatten them. I can't make them go flat. It's a 3D shape. This next shape is a little different. It also has a face, and that face is circular. It's got a circle face. We can try the experiment again. Remember, a face, you could set the object on a surface and it will sit there on the face. I'm going to go ahead and trace this face, another circle like our last one. But this one only has one face, one circle face. Do you know what this is called? I have a hint for you. What if I turned it like this and I imagined a scoop of ice cream sitting here? Do you know what the shape is called now? It's a cone. This shape is a cone. I like to remember that because I love ice cream, and I like to think about eating an ice cream cone on a warm summer day. So this shape is a cone. A cone has one circular face, and it is a solid. It is a 3D shape. I can hold it in my hand. I want to see your hand. Show me how you would hold a cone. Go ahead and hold that cone. It doesn't matter if I show the cone sideways, or like if it had ice cream, or if I turn it over. Any way I turn it, it's still a cone, and it is a 3D shape. It's an interesting 3D shape because it reminds me, it's got that circular face at the bottom, but it kind of almost reminds me a little bit of a triangle. But a triangle is flat. So it's flat. This is 3D. Flat, solid. I almost dropped it. Let's try another shape and see what it reminds us of. We saw this shape before. It's round and curved. Do you remember what it's called? Remember with the Play-Doh? Some of you are saying it's a ball. You're right, it is a ball shape, but mathematicians don't use the word ball to describe it. Mathematicians call this a sphere. A sphere is round and curved, and it has no faces. I'm going to show you what I mean. Remember I said if a shape had a face, you could set it down on the face. Watch what happens when I set this down. It rolls. It doesn't sit, it rolls around because it doesn't have a flat face to sit on. So it doesn't have a face, so it's round and curved and it'll roll around. I better be careful or I'm going to drop it. So there isn't a way really for me to trace it because it doesn't have that face. So this is a sphere. It is three-dimensional. Hold your sphere and say 3D sphere. It reminds me a lot about a circle. They're similar to each other. They're both round. They have no vertices, but a circle is flat. See how thin that is? I can turn it this way, but then I can make it flat. Remember, let's practice. Pretend you're taking my circle and putting it flat. That means it's two-dimensional or 2D versus the sphere. It's not flat. It is solid, 3D. Let's try another shape. This shape has lots of faces. Let's count the faces. 1, 2. So the top and the bottom, 2, and then the sides. 3, 4, 5, 6. So this shape, do you think it is 2D or 3D? Is it flat? It's not flat, so it's not 2D. It is a 3D shape. So with this 3D shape, I can tell it's 3D. It's got that shape. I'd have to wrap my hands around it. It wouldn't be possible for me to hold my hands flat. I can't do that. My hands won't come together on it. It's solid. It's a 3D or three-dimensional shape. But unlike the cone or the cylinder, its faces aren't round. What shape do you see in these faces? Let's see if this will help you. Do you see a shape you recognize in this face? This particular 3D shape has square faces. Remember I said for faces, you could take a shape and set it down and it will stay on its face. This shape has lots of faces. I can turn them and it will still stay sitting on my little tray. I'm going to go ahead and trace this face. So I'm going to hold it like this so you can see. And I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to trace the face. And if I shade that in, if I color that in, it might help you to see that this face is a square. The other faces, the cylinder had a round face, and so did the cone. But this shape has square faces, and in fact, it has 6 square faces. This is called a cube. Can you say cube? Cube. You might have thought of it as a block. Sometimes people will call it a block, and it is a block, but mathematicians are more specific with their vocabulary. So a mathematician would call this a cube. A cube is a solid 3-dimensional shape that has 6 faces, and all 6 faces are a square. And actually, all the faces on this particular shape, a cube, are the same size. So this is called a cube. So let's go ahead and review. Cylinder. Can you say cylinder? I want you to think about if you've ever seen this shape before of a cylinder. How many of you have ever had a can of soda? Can you imagine your can of soda? Hold it there. That is an example of a cylinder. A can of soda would be the cylinder shape. 3D cylinder. Remember, they can come in different sizes. They might be short or they might be tall, but if they have 2 circular faces, 1 and 2 on either end, and they can sit on those surfaces, but they also have a spot that one of their sides will roll. See how that rolls? So one side, if it's on its flat surface, it might slide. So it can move, it can slide like you're going down a slide, but one side will roll. That is a cylinder. We also have this shape, which also has a round face. It can sit on that round face. It can sit like this. And this one, watch what happens when I can slide it. So it'll slide on that flat surface or the face. It can slide on the face. But it will also, I dropped it. Let's see what happens when I turn it on its side. What happens? Did you see that? When we did the cylinder, it could roll straight down. But with the cone, it almost rolls in like a little bit of a circle. It curves. This is a cone, like you might have an ice cream cone. I want you to pretend that you're holding a cone. Show me your cone. That is a 3D shape. If our hands are like this, when we wrap around the shape, it's a 3D shape. We can hold it. It's solid. 3D. This is a cone. Then we have this shape. What was it called again? Sphere. Say sphere. Can you think of a sphere? Maybe you have used a sphere in PE. A soccer ball, a basketball, even a volleyball could be an example of a sphere. A sphere has no faces. It has no flat faces. So it's really hard for me to set it down because it's going to want to roll because it's circular and it doesn't have those flat faces. So this is a sphere. Do you remember what this shape was called? It's a cube. Is it flat like a square or is it 3D? Think about your hands, and if you could hold this, if I could toss it to you and you could hold it, is it going to be solid 3D or is it going to be flat? Okay. This is a cube and it has 6 surfaces or 6 faces and they're square. Watch what happens when I take the square on my tray. It'll slide, but it won't roll. Slide, but it won't roll. I can put it on different surfaces and it will sit and it will slide, but it won't roll. This is a cube. Kindergartners, I would like you to go get a family member and bring them to the screen. Thank you for joining us today. We were working on 3D shapes. I just have some ideas that you could try to practice with 2D and 3D shapes at your home. You could go on a shape hunt. So have your kindergartners look around your home and look for these shapes. For example, they might find a paper towel roll and connect to a cylinder, or they might find a soccer ball or a golf ball and connect to a sphere. You can also use Play-Doh or modeling clay to build shapes. You can model 3D shapes and flat 2D shapes. You could show your kindergartners a shape and ask them to identify whether it is 2D or 3D. And you can use the vocabulary of spheres, cylinders, cones, and cubes to describe the shapes that you have in your home. I've enjoyed doing some math with you today. Thank you for joining me as you continue your learning from home. I look forward to seeing you again for our next lesson on KSPS. And if you are looking for more activities, they can be found on the Spokane Public Schools Learning from Home website.